Hello world, this is Ace and Beaky here. Just as a creative idea for something a bit silly, although maybe 2020 is not the best idea to point this out because some people might be tempted to take it the wrong way. But if we could distance ourselves from the disagreements and approach it from more of like an open-minded idea that's meant to be half philosophical and half entertainment, an idea that these people's beliefs that I'm about to mention, we entertain them without accepting it. For the sake of, like South Park, we'll poke fun at it, we'll even maybe criticize some parts of it, but we'll also try to, give it credit. It's like that it might be partly true. Is if we made a video game that was goofily about a lot of conspiracy theories, but what if they were true? And they kind of already did that with Deus Ex, which is, pretty good, and I'd probably need to look into that and play that game. But what if, and just kind of hold back your personal reservations against Alex Jones himself as a person, but what if there was a video game based on, basically, what if a lot of Alex Jones' conspiracy theories were true? Not necessarily his take on it, because there's other people's takes on it, and that would kind of be the point, that there'd be many conspiracy theories that came from a different angle that, one will say, oh, it's the communists, oh, it's the fascists, oh, it's the capitalists, whatever. But if you tried to take the idea of basically of a lot of these conspiracy theories like it was kind of a mythology, like it was a lore, like it was different branches in a larger universe like the Marvel universe, and if you try to put it in a video game where it's like, okay, well, now it's kind of like, the various conspiracy theorists that you believe, that you've heard of, whether you believe in them or not, whether you think they're scumbags or not, that it's kind of like an expanded universe where they're all true or partly true. And wouldn't it be interesting if it was in a video game? And what type of video game, how would that play out? And I was thinking that if you did make a video game, and it was based kind of like on a lot of the conspiracy theories that you would hear from Alex Jones and David Icke, Simon Parkes, and there's others too. There's others that have different points of view, whereas Alex Jones kind of leaned more towards the right-wing group, and David Icke had a decent balance between basically left-wing New Age conspiracists and right-wing, patriotic Christians, or whatever you want to call them, that they had different takes on the same thing that David Icke was looking at. And there's other conspiracy theorists too. Some are on the left, some are on the right, some are black, some are white, some are male and some are female, some are religious and some are secular, or different kinds of religions. If you took that idea, and if it said, okay, what if we took a lot of those ideas and, we had you play a game, what type of game would it be? And I'm saying it should be one of those first-person shooter RPG hybrids that we constantly see with Bethesda. Actually, I think it'd be like if we made a game that was based on conspiracy theorists, we should focus on the gameplay would be like Bethesda's best. And what do I mean by Bethesda's best? Well, think about the stuff that's either an RPG or a first-person shooter. Think about Elder Scrolls. Think about Fallout. Think about the more adrenaline-rushed, action-based first-person shooters like Wolfenstein and Doom. And outside of Bethesda's best, that's usually some kind of first-person shooter or something, throw in some of Deus Ex's best. Like the first game, from what I understand, had the best story, while the third game had some better shooting mechanics. And the thing is that I think that would actually be a good way to make a video game if we wanted to profit off of conspiracy theories, like it was something that we halfway believed in, but the jury was out. Like, be an agnostic. Be a friendly agnostic towards the conspiracy theories. Like, if the conspiracy theories were like different religions and you were like an agnostic towards them, but you were like a friendly agnostic towards them, because there could be something that we could find in about to where it would be a game that would be based on real world conspiracies that were approached with a level of mostly neutrality, but not antagonistic neutrality. and be making it mostly for entertainment purposes, but like a deeper, more intelligent entertainment purposes. The reason why I say Bethesda's best is, the gameplay-wise, where, you would have the open world RPG elements of Oblivion and Fallout, but you would also have the fast-paced gunplay of Doom and Wolfenstein that came out recently. And you would have the basically the story progression and all that of the first Deus Ex game. Make it kind of like one of those games where like you can level up different aspects, and it would be one that would kind of be like a crossover that a lot of people would have. It's like, wouldn't it be great if you combined Elder Scrolls with Fallout, guns and magic? To me, that would be an interesting thing to make a video game series where you're basing it off of conspiracy theories, which, on paper, that's what Deus Ex did, but like you're taking it to another level and you're making it more action-oriented. The reason why I say that is because, if you've seen some of the jokes where people make memes of Alex Jones where his voice is put over to the recent Doom commercials, the couple of Doom games that came out in the past 10 years, and if you combined it with kind of like how Oblivion had a similar thing about hell breaking through, interdimensional invaders coming through people. That was kind of like the plot of Oblivion in a way. And you had the idea of Fallout where you were trying to save the world by water filters from basically leftover neocons called the Enclave. That sounds like something Alex Jones would talk about. And, Fallout 4, the Technocratic Institute trying to take over America, and you're defending it with modern militiamen. That sounds like something Alex Jones would be talking about. And I'm not saying that we just sit there and that we just worship Alex Jones and believe everything he says and that he's a person. No. We would be basing it off of a lot of stuff. We would be basing it off of kind of like the New World Order globalist stuff that Alex Jones talks about, and we would be basing it off of some of the stuff that was like aliens, that was kind of New Age conspiracism that David Icke talks about. We would listen to a bunch of people, and some people who are controversial just so that we would have a lot to work with, and we can pick and choose what's appropriate and not. I'm saying this is the buffet, and go through the buffet and take what works and leave behind what doesn't. The mark of an educated mind is to be able to entertain an idea without accepting it. So, there might be some people that you disagree with that you think are controversial, but if you think that they made a good point about something, maybe that needs to be explored for the sake of a story idea. Just kind of like you could be a conservative and not a Buddhist, but you can get something out of George Lucas's work. And like I said, there's a lot of interesting stuff that kind of already happened that's been sort of set up in games before it, that we wouldn't just be straight up ripping them off, but we would be modeling ourselves off of them as a good starting point. There's the Oblivion storyline, Fallout 4, Fallout 3. There's the whole Doom and Wolfenstein thing for gameplay. So just as an idea, it might be kind of interesting if we talk to ourselves and we basically pulled an Outer Worlds, where an Outer Worlds is kind of like, okay, a lot of people have been disappointed with Borderlands and Fallout. Their fans have been kind of disappointed with where Bethesda went with it, and they wanted something that was like the old stuff. So that's why Outer Worlds got some of a following. My thing is that if we apply that to the conspiracy theory lore that I was talking about earlier, and apply it into a game that would be pretty much 80%, cherry-picked the best of Bethesda, combine it with Deus Ex, we might have an interesting open-world RPG first-person shooter. Anyway, this is Ace and Beaky, over and out.